Guys, I have not seen a fight week like this ever. Not that I can ever remember. This is not a prop or a joke. I just grabbed my phone right now, grab my glasses so I can see it. And I just want to tell you, this is one of the dirt sheets I go to. This is Mania. Lead story, Giga, suspended indefinitely because of the fight. You know, the doctor suspended him. That's what that's about. Next one down. Sorry, haters, but Jake Paul would beat your ass. Next one down. Diaz likes to jump the line and make demands. Next one. Masvidal expects post-murder apology from Sonnen. Next one down. Jon Jones will not be in attendance. The next one down is actually a picture of Surreal Gone. I don't know what that headline is, and they said breaking down Bond Gaiman, which is annoying without even, what is a Bond Gaiman? That's just stupid. But at any rate, those are the headlines. Do you want to know what wasn't in there? The World Heavyweight Championship. Do you want to know what else was not in there? The World Flyweight Championship. I've never seen anything like this. And I will tell you right now, when those pages cannot write pieces on the athletes that are the main and the co-main of a pay-per-view, it's spite. 100% of the time, it is spite. It means they had their team put out the requests of the 4 participants, the 2 for the flyweight championship, the 2 for the heavyweight championship, and they got blown off. That is what it means. You will not find topics out there anywhere on the 25-pounders or the 265-pounders unless I brought them to you. And quite frankly, the only thing that I've said about the whole thing is that I can't say anything about the whole thing because they haven't said anything about it. I don't make the words up for them. I see what they said, I observe it, and I bring you my interpretation. I just never seen anything like it, guys. And you want to think about who to blame? I'm telling you right now who to blame. Blame the fighters. Because I can guarantee you the manias and the elbows and the junkies and the weeklies and the sure-dogs, they all reached out. They did not go get corpse from these guys and then decide not to run the article. They got ignored. They're pissed off about it and they're burying the story. I'm on the side of the .coms. They should be pissed off about it. But now you don't just have 2 guys that have blown it. You don't even have 3 guys that have blown it. You have 4. Do you guys want to know why it's very hard to build multiple stars at the same time? When Ronda Rousey was coming through, by example, do you know when Conor McGregor is going to fight on a card, do you want to know why you don't get attention if you're on that card? Because they suck all the air out of the room. When you have a big star like Ronda who comes to the stage with 10 other athletes and all the questions go to Ronda, they get ignored. All the headlines will go to Ronda. So it's very tough. It's not that there's no other capable stars out there. It's not that there's not anybody with any potential out there. They just can't get heard. They're not seen. They're not heard. It all goes to Ronda. And the same thing goes with Conor. It's why in this sport you typically will have 2, and if you're real lucky, 3 mega stars at the same time. Vince went through this. When Vince had The Rock and Stone Cold, those guys left. Business stayed fine. He didn't go bring in new talent. He had the talent at the time. He just couldn't make them stars because Austin and Rock sucked all the air out of the room. So it's very tough. It's a real game that you have to play. It's tough to know when to get out there. I used to do this stuff. You could go back. There would never be a Christmas that I didn't put an interview out. There would never be an Easter. There would never be a Thanksgiving. And the only reason I did that is I knew nobody else would. I knew even if it's one day and it's one poor media day, I still am king. So now you have Moreno, Figueiredo, Gone, and Gano. If one of them would have stepped forward, if one of them would have returned the request from the media, they would have it all. All of it. If you were the one guy that was out there and everybody else sat out, you would have all of the headlines. You would have all of the interest. You would have the biggest reaction at the weigh-in, the biggest reaction when you walk out there, and you will then be able to leave with the most. 4 for 4 had the same idea, which is to go and fight and not tell anybody. This is weird. This is unheard of. I've truly, when I tell you, never seen anything like it. I have no examples. I have seen, take Francis by example. I have seen other champions who, when they become champion, they get a little bit hard to work with. They start to choose what it is they want to fight. They start threatening interests in other areas. I'm not giving Francis a hard time, by the way. I'm really not. His approach is his approach. He's the champion of the world. Maybe we need to learn from him. But I am observing him, and I'm telling you, I have seen this before, and it has never, a grand total of never worked out. I don't want to embarrass people with real specific stories, but we had one guy that went on a book tour. We had another guy that was going to go and be an actor in Hollywood. We had another guy who was going to go and be a model/actor in New York. All of them lost their next fights, and it was in devastating fashion. And they all became Mr. Real Easy to work with after that. They all wanted back in there and right away. They all would fight anybody, and it could be in 20 minutes, let alone 20 weeks. All of them, unanimously. All of them have another thing in common, which is promptly and in very short order, and compared to what they could have had, they got cut from the company. So Francis has an opportunity to be the first. He'll be the first that has his eye somewhere else, that's pushing back, that's putting his energy into things other than the contest, and won, if he goes out and wins. But whatever you want to try to put on Francis's shoulder, you must put it on Surreal's. What has Surreal done? If Surreal becomes your champion, is he going to carry the company and the organization in the most marquee spot, heavyweight? Or are we going to be looking forward to Surreal gone versus Jon Jones, and both of them are out there trying to be cutesy, and we just have nothing to do? Is it going to be the same thing? It very much matters who you put that belt around. There's a lot of politics and a lot of thinking that has to go into this. And then you look at the 25-pounders. I mean, this is shocking, guys. 125 pounds was rumored to be on the chopping block to be abolished and no longer exist at all. And nobody was shutting those rumors down. Nobody was coming and go, hey, I don't know where this came from. It's all good. Then you have Henry Cejudo. You get a little bit of interest in the division. Now we've got the first ever Mexican-born champion going into a true trilogy, which should be massive. The history of combat sports is a true trilogy. Trilogy, not just being the third fight, being that the first two had different outcomes. It's a massive fight, and all of them thought the same thing. I'm not going to tell anybody. Okay. No problem. But if you would have told somebody, if you would have responded to these requests, you would have it all. You would have taken all of the air out of the room. You would have taken all the attention and all the focus. You would have used this platform to get your story out there. Your brand would be featured. I'm sure there's no way to know that. You don't know that the other partners that you have on the card are going to go out there and lay an egg. It was just purely a coincidence. But if you're at 125 pounds and you're getting featured in a pay-per-view, oh, and by the way, that's the very division that almost was erased, and you don't see an internal obligation, you don't feel that you should be a little bit more friendly? When's the last time anybody wanted to talk to a 25-pounder? Been a long time. Been a real long time. And now here you are carrying the water for all of the boys in the back, for all the future generations, some of which are in middle school and grade school, but they see you and they have a dream to be like you, and you're not taking that responsibility seriously. But if you would have, if you were one of the four in the two featured matches, you would have every headline, the same as I used to get on holidays because I knew nobody else was going to go to work.